Stranger Things Season 5 drops soon, and it's one of the most highly anticipated finales ever, which is why it's not all going to be rosy or about closures, as brutal and terrifying moments will be explored, which will shake the Upside Down and anyone connected to it. Stranger Things has always been a horrific show, but to close out with Season 5, the story will have to get darker as we break down all these different ways the show could shatter your heart to pieces. The show's creators, the Duffer Brothers, have continually emphasized how this final season will focus on the original Hawkins gangs to close their story without bringing in new distractions to add to the plot. However, one thing about Season 5 is that it will also focus on the Hawkins lab, where it all began, just like in Season 4, where we saw many of the backstories on Number 1, who's now Vecna. So there's a high possibility we will be seeing some of the other children who were experimented on in the Hawkins laboratory, and very big on this list is someone we've met before in one of the past seasons, Kali Prasad, 8. Like many of the superpowered children from the laboratory, 8 also has some unique abilities in manipulation and illusion. The first time we met 8 was in Season 2, and nothing much was explored about her storyline after that, but she could be back for the final season as her powers could help 11 and her friends get rid of Vecna. Through the power of illusion and manipulation, Vecna might get his Upside Down turned in a way he wouldn't see coming. So, the Hawkins lab children are essential in ending the terrifying Number 1. Stranger Things is filled with twists and turns that go deeper and creepier than the form in which the Upside Down takes. So, Season 4 took everyone by surprise after discovering Vecna is Number 1 in the experiment. It turned out that 1 and 11 are the most essential subjects to come out from the experiment, and that's the connection Stranger Things 5 will shock everyone with. Although the theory that Vecna is 11's birth father has been flying around for a while, it looks highly plausible. We've gotten to meet 11's mother, Terry, and it was revealed that her biological father is a man called Andrew Rich, who was with Terry before Dr. Brenner made him go to the Vietnam War, where he eventually became deceased. However, Stranger Things fans know they should not trust Dr. Brenner because he said and did anything to get a viable result from his experiment. For him, all those children were nothing but experimental projects about which he could lie for his exploration. After seeing how much power one had compared to the others, he likely wanted to replicate one again to get similar results to his abilities, which is why there are a number of them. Being the main character of Stranger Things, there's a big reason why she's 11 and very powerful like no other number except 1. 1, probably being her biological father, doesn't mean Vecna had a romantic relationship with Terry as Henry Creel. In the experiment, Dr. Brenner could have impregnated Terry with Henry's sperm without Terry's knowledge. If he could create little monsters without much disturbance, manipulating the birth of 11 to preserve one's genes would be the least of the stunts he was capable of. Another crazy thing you probably already suspect about Stranger Things Season 5 is that it will become very heated. Hawkins will become a battleground, quarantined and locked away from the rest of the world. With how intense the encounters will change everything for the residents of the little town. The chaos will start when Sullivan continues to use heavy resources to find 11 to get rid of her, but will soon realize they have a more dangerous situation than executing 11 and would need many of the other surviving subjects of MKUltra, including 11, to destroy the Upside Down. There will probably be a spectacular moment in Season 5 where 11 and the other subjects will lead the super efficient militaries to invade and pull down Vecna. With this invasion and the enormous battlefield to erupt in Stranger Things 5, we will get introduced to more monstrous characters whom Vecna would only release when the heat becomes too hot to handle. It's no longer new information for Stranger Things fans that the show is connected to Dungeons & Dragons, which the kids have played in some of the past seasons. Interestingly, despite being in the most horrible situations, the Hawkins kids found a way to name many of the monsters after D&D characters, starting with Demogorgon in Season 1, Mind Flayer in Season 2, and Vecna in Season 4, and with this most anticipated season finale, there's a big clue we will be getting the craziest monsters from Vecna's nest in the Upside Down. In Season 4, Nancy saw a big vision around this when Vecna attacked her. She saw some terrifying visions that showed Hawkins being destroyed by the Upside Down. Still, Nancy went to an even more uncomfortable detail of her vision by describing one of the things she saw, saying, "A giant creature with a gaping mouth." And just like some of the past monsters, it's believed that this new one in Season 5 is also inspired by a D&D character, Boris. This monster is a giant red dragon that's one of the most powerful creatures in existence, and it has a gaping mouth like Nancy described. Aside from Nancy's vision, this creature was also foreshadowed in Will's painting to Mike, which captured the gang fighting a red and giant dragon. And with this coming to season 5, it will neutralize whatever pattern the kids have in combating upside-down monsters. Interestingly enough, one thing about the show's creators, the Duffer Brothers, is that they will kill any character except the main ones, even though they are more exposed to the risks of the upside down. Even Millie Bobby Brown, who plays 11, mocked the Duffer Brothers for not having the guts to execute more characters, and they are about to show the fans and Millie how brutal season 5 will be by going for a main character. They've repeatedly mentioned how the focus will be on the original cast, which means they are going to be in a lot more dangerous situations than they've been in the past, and this will expose them to getting severely injured and even murdered. Of all the original characters, people have often wondered who would be executed if the Duffer Brothers had to choose, and the most plausible person is 11, and this will involve Vecna. Ever since Max became trapped in the Upside Down, 11 has tried to get into her head and in the Upside Down to stop everything. She might be able to make a few more trips to the Upside Down in season 5, but there will be one where it will be impossible for her to get out. The final battle between 11 and Vecna is crucial and one of the most anticipated moments in Stranger Things 5 because it will be beyond electrifying and sad. It's not going to be an easy fight for both of them. But before this battle, 11 could have discovered she's genetically connected with Vecna, which would have been very emotional. Her friends might be trying to find her, but 11 will be busy fighting for her life and redeeming the world from Vecna, who plans on dominating it. So this battle could lead to 11's demise, but not because Vecna would overpower her. 11 could decide to sacrifice herself to get rid of Vecna, especially when she discovers their connection is beyond being part of an experiment together. It's not unlikely that 11 will defeat Vecna, but she might not live to tell the tales, as the fall of Vecna might come with that big sacrifice to let herself go as well. So Hawkins getting saved highly depends on Vecna's demise, but there could also be another way out: time travel. Although set in the 80s, Stranger Things has featured some pretty cool, impressive sci-fi stuff, from telekinesis to monsters to alternate dimensions, and the biggest one yet could be time travel, which has been foreshadowed with the grandfather clock that was frequently shown during season 4. 11 may have yet to fully explore all her powers, as she could reach the height to push for time travel in season 5. Some past events, such as Vecna's background, might have to be changed to save Hawkins. We got to see how Vecna had a terrible childhood, which impacted how he turned out, and there was a reason why this was shown aside from telling us his origin villain story. However, time travel comes with consequences, and changing past events like Vecna's childhood and events since 11 met with the gangs could alter reality in a way that 11 doesn't make it back. Things could turn out to look as if 11 never existed for Hawkins to return to normal, and it's wild seeing how trapped 11 will be in season 5, and it might not be a favorable season for her, as Millie Bobby Brown mentioned when she saw how her character would end. Millie recalled her reaction to seeing her character's ending on a whiteboard in the writer's room, saying, "I just saw my ending and thought, oh, and then I walked away very slowly." Such a reaction is not to a pleasant ending, as Millie already suspected the ending and was just chilled when she confirmed it, even though it was scary. From the beginning, Will has been at the center of the chaos between Hawkins and the Upside Down. Even season 5 will open up with him in a flashback from season 2. Also, at the end of season 4, we saw that he has a connection with Vecna that's so eerie that he couldn't shake it off. Of all his friends in the group, Will is the odd one out with personal struggles the others don't get. But one crazy way in which Stranger Things 5 could break your heart is for Will to become evil, since that has been calling unto him from the beginning. Will feels like an outsider and might start distancing himself from his friends due to his connection to Vecna. Since he's beginning to feel whatever Vecna feels, Will might get drawn to him because he could be the only person or monster who truly understands him. So the villain you are not expecting in season 5 is Will.